Well, what has the world come to, folks? Gender friggin' neutral. Now, gender neutral is not to be confused with gender equality. A gender equality means both groups have equal rights, equal pay, etc., etc., which is fine and is very good. And in fact, there should be more done to make sure that that is the case, because I do know some employers that do not follow the rules. And, well, typically they treat all their employees like scumbags, but they treat women worse. That's a topic for another video. I'm no longer with that scumbag company anymore. They were bad in all aspects. Anyway, right, so gender neutral then, what is it? Well, some people seem to believe there is no physical difference between a man and a woman, which is just stupid. For a start, men have 2 extra ribs, and, well, there's other dangly pieces that, shall we say, a man has that a woman doesn't have. And other areas in the chest region are different as well as the hips and other things like that. So to say there is no difference between a man and a woman is just stupid. Seeing if something is a boy or a girl, be it a human or an animal, is pretty easy. Unless, of course, it's something like a worm, which is a hermaphrodite, in which case, yeah, okay, and that can happen in humans sometimes, but it's pretty rare. Anyway, so you've got things like, you know, say you have a litter of puppies, a dog has a litter of puppies, and you want to see if they're male or female. It's pretty easy, right? You just look underneath, and if it has danglies, it's a male. If it doesn't have danglies, it's a female. Pretty straightforward, pretty basic science here, like the sort of thing you get taught in like primary school. So it's pretty ridiculous that they say, oh, there's no difference between a man and a woman. I mean, come on, it's obvious. It is just absolutely obvious. I mean, you can't just stick 2 men in a room and expect a baby to appear now, can you? Which again means that there's a physical difference. Likewise, you can't get 2 women, stick them in a room and expect a baby to appear 9 months later. You need the bloke involved, or at least you need something from the bloke that the woman can't produce herself. Which is absolutely, you know, obvious at this point. And there's even people bringing up their babies and children as gender neutral, saying, "I'll let the child decide what it wants to be." Well, you're born one or the other. Of course, we can change that with medical science and things like that. You can have an operation and become from a man to a girl, or vice versa. But you're born one or the other. So it's a bit ridiculous to let a baby decide what it's going to be when it's obvious what it is currently. Let them decide whether they want to change that when they're older, yeah, fair enough, but to say that they're not one or the other when they're growing up as a kid is going to be really confusing mentally and physically for them, and they're not going to know what changing rooms to use and everything else. Also, these people want gender neutral toilets. Now, depending on how this is going to work, say if you had individual cubicles with their own locked door, it would be fine and actually make better space and use of the toilets space available, so it means you could utilise that space at any given time. There won't be any queuing for the lavatory, hopefully. However, if you want an open toilet, like an open ladies or an open men's toilet, but you want those to be gender neutral and you can have both sexes going in and out at once. Now, personally, that doesn't bother me, but there are unfortunately some people out there who are a bit predatory, and I think the number of rapes and attacks and things like that will go up, especially if they, you know, gang up, because it's probably not going to be one bloke doing it, it's going to be like several ganging up on some little lady that comes in there, or even if it's a larger lady, if they're interested and there's enough of them, they could potentially gang up on them. So, you know, I mean, that could happen in reverse as well, but that's a lot less likely. It does generally tend to be men that are more predatory in that regard. Again, but that's you know, debatable. But the physical differences are certainly not debatable. It's absolutely ridiculous to debate that, and it's not a good idea to confuse gender equality to equal rights for both genders, which is absolutely fine and is fantastic. You know, that should be a thing. Where compared to gender neutral, which is saying there is actually no physical difference when there is a physical difference. That concludes this video. See you later. Screen capture's busted. Sorry about that.